Hey guys, it's the Rum Girl here, and we're talking privateer rum today. But I have a special guest with me today, and we are going to bring out Shannon Mustipher, the author of Tiki, who is the GOAT in the rum world, and she's also repping privateer. And we're gonna go through all three of these amazing bottles with Shannon, and I'm going to just bother her because I love when she's around and she knows her rums, honey. So, are we ready to talk about privateer rum with Shannon Mustipher? Let's do this. Let's go!
Privateer rum is distilled in Ipswich, Massachusetts. We're hitting about 14 years of production, and we've seen some wonderful changes, especially in the last 4 years. The company is founded by Andrew Cabot, who's inspired by the story of his ancestor by the same name, removed 6 generations. The original Andrew Cabot was a privateer, which is essentially a state-sanctioned pirate. He worked for George Washington during the American Revolution, moving goods, harassing the British, and also distilling rum. So here we have an example of an American distillery that is inspired by that personal past, as well as the rich history of rum distilling in Massachusetts. All of our rums are made from 100% grade A molasses. Our facility is located in Guatemala, and from there, we do a long fermentation, 6 days at 74 degrees. A little unusual, but I believe it helps us to extract the most flavor from our base ingredient. And then from there, we double distill in a hybrid column that is inspired in part by some processes and equipment that we see coming from the world of cognac. Now from there, it gets even more exciting. We use a range of once used as well as virgin American oaks for our core expressions. And as mentioned, aged for at least 4 years in every bottling that you'll receive. One thing to note is that we only harvest twice a year, typically between January and June or July and December. These harvest seasons is when we see our liquid showing its best qualities, due in part to the fluctuating nature of the aging environment. There's some parts of the year that kind of come close to being Caribbean-esque. Note that the facility is about 30 minutes away from the ocean on the south shore of Massachusetts, which is just before you start to get to the Cape. So first we're going to start with the bottled in bond. I consider this to be our very easygoing, everyday expression.
Oh, this is amazing. Sorry, Shannon. This is amazing.
No need to be sorry. I love to hear your perception on like, what are you getting from the flavor? And then I can talk more about what's specific to it. But it's, like I said, distilled in a column, aged for 4 years. In this case, we're using once used American oak, and it has no filtration, no color added. None of these rums do. We bottle it at 50% ABV. And we've discovered that the processes that privateer has been following for some time naturally satisfy the requirements of being a bottled in bond, which is all about going back to the original act that was passed in 1897. It was almost like a precursor to the FDA, where consumers want to be sure of the quality of the products that they were consuming. Hence, they want to understand where it was made, at what time, had anything been added to it, and then of course we talk about the age and the type of wood. So this is our bottled in bond.
I'm getting silky, I'm getting heat, I'm getting spices, ooh, honey. I'm getting magic.
It has a little bit of vanilla and oak. If you enjoy bourbon, I think that's something that you would definitely get with. But yeah, the heat does come by virtue of the proof bottled in bond, which makes it wonderful for mixing. No, it's not for the weak. It's meant to show up in the cocktail and not disappear. Next, I'd like to introduce you to the Navy Yard. This is a new iteration on Navy Yard that you may have tasted in the past. In this case, it's aged in virgin American oak, bottled in single cask, and we proof it at 56.5 ABVs. It's important. Navy rum typically refers to a British Navy formula that was developed in the 1750s and inspired in turn this practice of blending and aging rums in the UK and Scotland. In the case of our Navy Yard, this is more of an homage to the location of the facility and the background of the founder.
Oh,
all right, Garnett.
Sweet.
Break it down for us. Break it down.
Oh, I'm getting maple and wood. I'm getting spices. I don't know. Is it me? I'm getting a little bit of spices.
No burn.
This is Privateer. Who are you? You guys are amazing.
Well, I love you bring up the maple and wood because I think that the robust flavors here definitely evoke like a northern climate or a northern experience, which I definitely associate with those two things. But the other thing I think is cool is that you're talking about there's less burn. And it's important to note that in a quality production process for any spirit, be it rum or otherwise, the spirit can be very smooth at a higher proof because you have more of those compounds we call congeners, or the fats that give the body and the character to a liquid intact.
It's giving, is that velvet on my tongue, baby?
Exactly. Meanwhile, the esters, the aroma compounds, we talk about that in confectionery as well as in perfume and fragrance. They're more prevalent here as well at a higher proof. So again,
who raised you, Private? You did a great job. Who raised you?
Well, I got to give a shout out when you ask to Dylan, our head distiller at Privateer, as well as to Katie, who works with the team as well. But what you're seeing here is the result of the evolution of the brand over almost, a decade and a half. In the initial stages, we had a white rum, we had a younger age rum, but in the last 5 years, we've gotten to the place where we're starting to look to the future. So now we're going to talk about Fresh to Death. Fresh to Death is a private barrel pick from what we call our Letter of Marque series, which has been a really integral program to Privateer over the last decade. Here we invite our key accounts to pick out barrels that we separate during our harvest process. So as I mentioned earlier, when we were talking about how we go about producing a rum overall, twice a year we go through the barrel rooms and we select the rums that go into our core goods, the bottled and bond and the Navy Yard. While we're doing this process, we discover barrels that are aging in an unusual way, but we see some potential there and hope that we can utilize the insights from these barrels to make the core goods better and offer our loyal accounts a special expression of Privateer. So we focus on maybe doing a dozen of these at most per year, and it's always really exciting to see what they suggest about what our longer age rums, we're talking about 6, 7, 8 years, may look like. The Fresh to Death is the same liquids that you see here in the bottle and bond and Navy Yard, but it's aged a little bit longer, 4 years and 6 months.
Oh, this smells amazing.
There's a combination of American prior use oak as well as virgin oak here.
I'm getting whiskey and honey.
Tell us more.
Oh my gosh, this tastes like dessert in a glass. No burn at all. Super silky. Privateer, who raised you? You guys are amazing.
Well, I like to say time is really a critical element in how we achieve our results. The timing of the fermentation, the timing of the distillation process, the timing of our aging and maturation protocol, as well as when we decide to remove the liquid from the barrel and start our blending. So these steps are something that we kind of invest more time in. Bring it back. Is that good?
Not that good.
I've had that moment before. But I think time plays a really critical element here. And we're still, I think, fairly young as far as rums at this level go, and yet here we are. So, Garnett, thanks for tasting Privateer rum with us and sharing your thoughts on it. Any final words?
It's giving me catamaran on somebody's beach somebody's island in the ocean somewhere sipping on a coconut water energy. No chaser, no juices, no lime, no nothing. All three of these rums can be sipped and just, it just tastes amazing. It is smooth, it is silky, it is light. Oh my goodness, it's like a party in my mouth.
Well, that's all good things to hear. And that just goes back to my thoughts on rum. If it's wonderful neat, it's going to be good in a cocktail. And you can mix with all of these. But if you want to just enjoy it on its own, I don't blame you for that either. With that being said,
I'm stealing all the bottles.
Garnett, you got all the privateer you need. We got you. And to you, thanks for tuning in and learning about privateer. I look forward to the next time we get to raise a glass together and to explore the world of American rum. Cheers.
Peace from Shannon Mustipher and peace from the Rum Girl.